Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video. This video I'm going to talk about ways that people want to assert their dominance and elevate themselves. There's different ways people will try to assert dominance and elevate themselves. Even though I'm going to deal with the topic of certain ways of asserting dominance that people literally set up and start. Usually it's a third party thing, a he said she said, a shit starter. But a lot of times there was no he said she said, and the person has a seething mind and wants to assert their dominance and intimidate, and in their own mind it makes them feel more badass, and they'll only pick certain people they think that they can beat up, right? But you'll see in their hypocrisy, somebody that would be harder for them to beat up, they don't do shit. Anyway, it's a type of behavior that grown-ass people, men, will do, both black and white. And when they do this, they never left high school. But they do it as an excuse to threaten violence, or in some cases, more dangerous cases, they could want an excuse to go off on you. Basically, they want to dare you to question it. And in some cases, in certain cities, whether the other person's black or white, Mr. Gangster Man or black or white or certain other people, if you were to challenge things this way and reason this way, it'll get you shot or beat up or killed or whatever. In some cases, they're daring you to say anything about it. So this is forbidden knowledge in the eyes of these people. But before I go into a ramble here, I'm talking about the categories, a particular category of this behavior where people set it up to threaten violence. But there are also topics that I'll save for another video. To keep myself from rambling, I'll point out that it's not just the violent types, black and white, an excuse to make you feel scared you're going to get your ass kicked, you know, that kind of asserting of dominance, high school mentality. There's also other ways people do it to not threaten but not threaten violence. It can be supervisors of some workplace, you know, on power trips. It can be women, family members, like say, it can be your mother in some cases, where the father isn't there, and or whatever, they're being hypocrites, and you get older, or the dynamic changes when you're too big for them to slap you around, and then if they put their hands on you, they'll say you did something that could get you thrown in jail. But yeah, this stuff, I'm not going to ramble, spend too much time on this, but other categories. If you watch YouTube channels like Angry Guy and AJ's Rants, and that one woman with the tattoo on her neck, Roma Army, where she addresses shit that women will do. You're not saying all women are bad, but people, these YouTube channels talk about the way women will do it, turn around and be the victim, or you're dumb enough they want to go swinging at you, you better dodge and get the hell away from, or it's better off you don't antagonize them, you walk the hell away from them real quick. I can see the telltale signs. But anyway, I'm just, to keep myself from doing a big ramble, there's other categories like that I could do a video on later to put that to rest, you know, I'm saying right now. But anyway, right now, yeah, the person both black or white, especially after or during and after Black Lives Matter bullshit was going around, there are people, or even way before that, are different categories. You can have somebody that's black. In some eyes, certain people, they think everybody's racist. You can have somebody that's black, whether it's in high school or even out there in the world, have seething minds and already giving you dirty ass looks. They could be the poster boy for a meme that they want to look for an excuse to threaten violence. But somebody that looks like me, that's a little more bigger and more dominant, will do that to another person that looks like me, and so on. Yeah, even you little leftist punks with different hairstyles and all that, white saviors and white leftists, you may have people among you. It isn't the always MAGA and far right that you imagined it'll pull this with you. No, you'll have some of your own that'll do that shit, but you keep that under the rug, you know, because the narrative is always, but yeah, it gets political, so I don't want to ramble there. But anyway, no matter who you are, yeah, if they happen to be another color, they think that they have, not that you're picking on the color, but there's people that think that they have some kind of entitlement to have some kind of dominance over you, and they want to make themselves feel better. And they'll, back to the, like the high school mentality, but grown-ass people do it. And if you point it out, it could get you killed or shot. But, for example, well, let's see. How should I tackle this? Put myself in there as an analogy. Say if I was one of them people, what I would be doing as an example. I can say off George or Joe Schmo, make fictitious names. I could do like infographics, is, you know, have the actors like with little animations like infographics. Okay, I'll say it as an analogy, like a mockery. Say I'm some dude, I can be black or whatever too. I want to come up to you and I don't really want to resolve the situation. Say, hey, I heard you called me, if I was black, you called me the N-word, or I heard this or that, you were saying my girlfriend or partner or wife was a hoe and shit. Yes, there's a part where two people involved have rights. The person being accused and the accuser do have rights. And the people that want to start it to threaten violence, they don't care about the police law or the rule of law. And it's also, not to ramble, there is a part where people can weaponize police. Police don't usually do shit like that, but police could be weaponized. If somebody knows a cop, that's in there too. Certain more civilized people will get the cops to do that no damn well, and a cop is supposed to question you the right way. But anyway, yeah, that would be a ramble and for another video. But say, okay, I want to be black, or somebody else, or I don't know, professional fighter, black or white. I could have one approach to a certain thing. If there really is a he said, she said. In my mind, a person tells me, oh, this person said this, and they accuse you and they want me to go beat you up. They'll probably antagonize it because they don't want to get a bunch of fines or jail time in their cells, and maybe they hope I even cause the person's death. Well, I'm just saying how that can escalate. I can go to the person who wants to, probably is trying to egg me on to beat you up, whether I'm black or not. I can go to the person and be like with a middle finger, well, fuck him or whatever. But then in some cases, there's a right to go and ask somebody the right way, yes or no. But you can just have that attitude like this, but then if you have it can cause a scenario where you forever have a seething mind, want to give him a dirty look, oh, even though you have the fuck him attitude. Rather than keep from having a seething mind, go ask. But a lot of people, they don't care, and there is no he said, she said. I'm giving you the scenario that say, if I want to beat somebody up, I'm black, I'm a big football player, whatever the hell. And also I could be called on being a coward too. Say, if I am coming to you with the shit to threaten something and intimidate you, right? Just because I can beat you up, but then this other person bigger, people will tell me, oh, I heard he said, and I won't even say shit about it, then you can expose as a coward, right? But then there's another scenario too, that there is no he said, she said, right? And all right, anyway, in this scenario, say nobody gets the police involved because nobody cares about the authority of the police. There is still a true fact that both parties do have a legit right. The person, providing that they're not doing it as an excuse to threaten violence for the purpose of asserting dominance, as long as they're not doing that, yeah, they have a legitimate right to come to you the right way and ask. But if they're doing it just to assert dominance, to intimidate, and for excuse to threaten violence, to intimidate, and if you don't go for it, they are looking to commit or indicate and commit violence or whatever, which is against the law or whatever. I mean, even without the police involved, there is legit rights both have and legit rights you have. I'm geared more to the legit rights that you have if you're on that end, somebody trying to assert dominance, right? And yeah, you call it out. If you call it out, if there's somebody looking to go off on you, whatever, you call it out, it can be dangerous. Or a lot of times it won't be dangerous. They do a lot of yelling and talking shit. Yeah, a lot of times they yell over top of you or whatever too, and don't do shit, you know, I mean, too. That's another scenario. But okay, going back to the example I wanted to say I was one of those people, say if I wanted to be black, what I was starting to say here, say there is no he said, she said. There's a scenario that that I'll go and if I want to intimidate a particular person just to start shit, be a shit starter, somebody I know I can beat up, I'll say there was a he said, she said. It's only the purpose to engage in the intimidation. No he said or she said at all. I made it up in my mind because I want to assert dominance. If I was one of them bullies, you know, like I said, I'm putting myself in the analogy as reasoning. Say I want to be one of them people, rather than say, okay, there's Joe Schmo and Jack, whatever. One the agitator and one the recipient of the agitation, and then I would have to do an infographics type thing, you know, cartoonish. But anyway, that happens too, and that's what people like to do. And well, some people don't think of that when it's going on from back in high school, but human nature, people like to do shit like that. Some people have a seething mind. They don't like you for some reason, and they need to elevate themselves over the person they don't like. There's different ways of elevating somebody's self. You know, talking gossip and putting somebody down behind somebody's back. But some people want to elevate themselves because they want to feel like a badass, that they have dominance over a particular person. They do that. And of course, you know, you're taking risks when you even politely point it out. Say you want to ask them, you got this far in this video, say you want to ask them. Says, okay, I understand, yeah, you're concerned about this, and be assured I wouldn't do that. Why would I do that? I don't even, because in some cases you don't even completely know their name. You know them, you pass by, and you don't even totally remember or they'll go and do that shit. And yeah, say you go, oh yeah, I understand you're concerned. Somebody says that, but are you doing that because of concern? Whatever shit starter told you this and you're believing everything he or she said? Or are you trying to play games with me? We see, if you were to do what I just said there, you know, that can cause escalation, and they want the escalation. That happens too. And well, in bigger cities, you point that part of it out already. They know it can be trouble or whatever. Some won't do shit. They'll do a lot of yelling and say they don't commit any violence like they want you to be scared of. They do a lot of yelling, and it turns into a big giant bunch of yelling that say they don't beat you up, and it's a bunch of yelling and talking shit, I'll do this or that. It also exposes them for who they really are. Just somebody trying to intimidate, and they're throwing a fit because they can't get away with it. Oh, they're either doing that, or they really believe something he said, she said. And if they're not doing that, they'll create a he said, she said that don't even exist. Well, there are people that don't even engage in everything I explained in this video. If somebody really wants to go, and it happens in cities all the time, somebody wants to go out, sucker punch or shoot anybody, they go ahead and do it too. They don't even warn you they're doing it. But that's a totally different scenario. We're not talking about that. But I bring that up because some people, they want to do something, they're going to go do it. But instead of doing that, a lot of times they want to just assert their dominance and create intimidation. But if you call them on it, there's always a chance that they'll get mad and go off on you, because if they do, they're also pissed. Whether they physically beat you up, they want to try to stab you, or they'll even shoot you, which is risky. Some of these people occasionally in bigger cities, black or white, they're wannabe badasses or wannabe gang members, or sometimes now even teenagers that have guns. They're very narcissistic people, and if you call them on shit, they throw a fit, they'll shoot somebody or whatever. Then you get, okay, if you got this far in this video, there are people in numbers that operate that way. Yeah, Black Lives Matter with their protest gangs with both white people, black people in it. They want to be big purveyors of this after all those riots are over. Assert their dominance by marching in places, look intimidating out in the, like say out in the street in places that had nothing to do with it. But then after all that's over, they want to establish. That's never really over, even though the protests are over. If they're another color or they're a white leftist or whatever, they do these things. They want to assert a dominance and make you walk on eggshells, and that they could walk up to damn near anybody with a he said, she said, and you're supposed to cringe down because, oh, after all, you don't call them on it. Yeah, you're supposed to be made to, like, if to be afraid or concerned that if you call them on it, something might happen to you. And like 90% of the time it won't, but a higher likelihood in bigger cities that have certain people of certain colors, and it's not always because they're black, but calling on it is punishable by a severe beating or being shot, because they don't acknowledge the legitimate rule of law. You know, where aggravated assault is against the law. But then I throw in parentheses, people would weaponize police. It's a totally different scenario. And then, and in this video too, it could be somebody in a workplace, and then other things you talk about later. People related to the boss or supervisor at a job say something that's totally never happened work-wise, get you called into the boss's office. Some of us nicknamed the principal's office, and you got a boss that was okay for a while. A lot of us dealt with that. They like the work you do. They have a like-hate relationship with you. They like the work you do, but they don't want you walking around with any kind of self-esteem with your head high, and they don't they really don't even like paying you what they pay. You know, it's about fattening up their wallet. Not that I'm not saying this is a rhetoric or of a lazy communist, but you're a person to actually work. You got the people that are authority over you. They want you to be squeezed, and you're eternally grateful. They prefer you to be with kids. Nothing against kids. They want you to be eternally grateful, and they want you to have kids and a family to feed, so that you don't politely call bullshit. You got to be afraid that you're going to lose your job, or if there's a thing in workplace called the at-will thing, where they get around your, whether you're black or white, get around your rights you have to not be fired for bullshit or whatever. There's a thing that a lawyer actually told me one time. I'm not going to bore you with the details. I'm not going to bore you with all the details and ramble, but I called a lawyer about a thing years ago, and actually a lawyer told me, and actually outright told me, unless you're a Jew or you're black or this or whatever, he outright told me they don't have a case because there's an at-will thing. And it's easier for a lawyer to defend you, whether you want to sue for money or sue to hold on to your job, force somebody. Well, there's other places you can go to too, but you know, get around to that. That's a ramble. The whole deal is, you know, workplaces will do that. If it's not to, I'm just only telling you not to ramble. It's cases of another video. I couldn't say in the video a separate case, but I'm throwing in there right now that it's not always a thing that to intimidate somebody, to feel that make them feel that they're going to get beat up, assert dominance. There's other ways of asserting dominance besides the innuendo of violence. It's not always the innuendo of violence. The other classes are people of position of workplace power, women, and people's narcissistic mothers. If you were look at like YouTube videos about narcissistic parents, and then dovetailing in with AJ's rants and angry guy, and then that woman with the tattoo on her neck, dang Roma Army. There's a thing about how women assert dominance a total different way. And you're not saying all women are bad, but they want to play it a totally different way. You know, a list of all kind of ways. You're better off looking at these other YouTubers, which I bring those YouTubers up in that scenario because there's a few more things that these YouTubers I feel they should talk about that I talk about. Oh, that one woman, Roma Army, talked about a few of those as a woman saying things that are against what women do. But not to ramble on about that, but I'm just giving you a taste of other categories of asserting dominance. But before I leave this video, the way women will do it, certain people's mothers are different places. They're in a pissy mood. They have a seething mind. You can see it in their face. And they want to take it out on whether that stepdad that they're mad at or anybody else that they're mad at. And use the whipping boy or the whipping post and be like, create shit. Start yelling shit like they're talking to themselves. And looking for a reason. Doing shit so that, waiting for you to say something so they go off on you. Or if that don't work, come up and be confrontational. Get pissed off when you invoke your right to say, hey, you're just doing that because you're pissed at this or that. Because you're in a pissy mood, you know. And then, of course, women of that character, they're in with the radical feminists. Radical feminists support that shit. And they want to have legislation really that gives them all the advantages. They can harass anybody that's male they feel through a lot of these tactics that you don't got to look at another video from me that I would eventually make to know this. It's out there, you know what I mean? But, well, there you have it. Giving you best as I can the way games people play to a certain dominance, which I emphasized in this one about the innuendo of violence or innuendo of being afraid of getting beat up or whatever the hell. But anyway, that's it.